Hello, everyone. We've got a big little group here. So yeah, very cool. Guys, we are going to run this webinar a little bit like the way that we run our transformation support community webinars. So if you please just keep yourselves muted, but we do like to see your faces if you're feeling brave enough, fine if not. And please open up your chat box, and I'll open up mine because this is the best way for us to talk. And we will be talking with you as we go throughout the session. So we do want to hear what you've got to say. We don't want to be just talking to ourselves. So please tell us what your thoughts are. Oh, cool. I see a couple of familiar faces. So what I'm going to do, guys, is, and please say hello, tell us where you're from, tell us what you're up to. I will share with you, I have a big glass of Diet Coke. People often ask me, like, has he got a wine or no? Okay, guys. We've got some people without cameras. We've got some people with cameras. We've got some people from Beirut, some people from Perth who just got home from work, because you guys in Perth, you're a little bit behind, aren't you? We've got some people from the sunny coast. I was up there on holidays recently. Fantastic. Very, very cool. We've got a lot of people from all over Australia and a few internationally. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little PowerPoint presentation, because we are going to have some PowerPoints. And I'm going to ask you to kind of chat and reflect a little bit. So I'm really going to rely on your chat to continue through then. So welcome to the webinar, guys. And just checking you can all kind of see that. I'm so technologically illiterate. Got some yeses, very cool. Just checking. The first thing that I wanted to say is welcome. Welcome to all of our pretty big, group of people who are attending live. And then we've had just shy of 500 people register for the webinar, but a lot of them did say, hey, we can't actually access it at the time. So welcome to everybody who's watching in their own time. And we will actually at some stage put this on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then hello to all of you guys in YouTube land. We are really excited to have this webinar today, where we're going to help you to transform your eating, your movement, and your mindset. And this is the most interdisciplinary webinar we've ever done, because we've actually got 3 of your experts in the same webinar. So it's going to be a bit of fun. I will periodically check the chat box, which I'm doing now, and then we will crack on. So I thought I would introduce all of us first, in case you don't know who we are. You probably know who I am because I'm hosting the webinar, but if not, my name is Glenn Mackintosh, and I'm a psychologist who really loves working in the areas of eating, physical activity, weight, and body image. They're my jam. I have published some research in this space, but I think really probably my main value to people is my clinical experience. So I've been working in this space for over 15 years now. And we've just checked about probably, we guess, over 20,000 hours now working one-on-one with people to help them support people through these challenges. So I think that that's probably my real benefit to you, is, taking what we learn from the study and the research and applying it into real world strategies that help real people. I founded Weight Management Psychology again about 15 years ago, and we are a team now of 7 psychs and 2 dietitians, one of whom you are going to meet very, very shortly. I am involved in some teaching and mentoring of dietitians and psychologists through Dietitians Australia and the Australian Psychological Society. And it's something that I get a lot out of, and I actually learn a lot from teaching Australia's dietitians and psychologists. And I am big, my real passion is in spreading messages that are evidence-based, that are compassionate and that are sometimes innovative. And I like to spread those messages as far as I can. So I do some public work in the media, and I've written a book a few years ago and that sort of thing. So that's me. Um, Let me introduce you to the other members of our interdisciplinary, what I'm calling the dream team. Uh, so we have Courtney Brooker. So Courtney Brooker is a non-diet dietitian, and Courts has quite a few roles with us. She is a dietitian on our clinical team at Weight Management Psychology, and our clients just love her very understanding, very mindful, very supportive approach to dietetics, and I'm sure that you will too. Quartz is also our head transformation support coach in the transformation support community. So the community that we're going to be talking to you about in a little bit, Courtney runs all of the Facebook group and the special support that we do in there. And the other person you're going to meet tonight is Sarah Liz King. So Sarah is a body positive exercise physiologist and health coach. And our people really appreciate Sarah's wisdom from her exercise physiology and coaching degrees, but also she has used the principles of intuitive eating, joyful movement, body positivity to help her on her own journey, which our clients really, really value and appreciate. So I'm sure that you're going to really enjoy talking with Quartz and SLK, as I call them. Okay, I'm just going to quickly check the chat box and see if there's, nah, we're good to go. A couple more people just telling us where they're from, which is cool. Okay, so now you know who we all are. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. So I'm going to give you my my recent favorite tip on how you can overcome self-sabotage and transform your mindset. Quartz is going to share a really practical tip that can help you physically feel more full and satisfied. And then Sarah is going to share a really powerful tip that can help you think a little bit differently about getting your movement in. So really, guys, we place a lot of pressure on ourselves sometimes to change, and we want tonight to just be something that's enjoyable and something that is valuable for you. So just you'll have the recording if you've registered for this webinar. You can watch it back as much as you want. So it's all there for you, and we're going to be really happy if you can just take something that's helpful for you out of it. So no pressure, but I'm sure there's going to be some idea, whether it's a practical strategy or a little quote that you hear, or actually one of the exercises. So we're happy if you do that. But if you want to take a step further into transforming your mindset, your eating, your physical activity, your weight, your body image, I'm going to let you know about a new series that we have coming up in our transformation support community that is designed to help you do just that. So I'll let you know about that. And then we will have some time, provided I keep to my time, for some questions and answers. So that's kind of what we're going to do today, guys. Let us, I'm just going to check our chat box. Perfect. All right. So let me get on to my tip, which is about overcoming self-sabotage. So a huge question that my clients often have is, why do I self-sabotage? Why do I say I want to do certain things, but then I don't do them? Or I say that I want to not do certain things, but then I keep doing them. So I've been a real student of how to help people overcome self-sabotage for probably 20 years. And I actually love this little image so much because you can see here there's some of my favorite little books that I've read. And I do very much rely on the science to help us understand how to help people overcome self-sabotage and reach their goals and become who they want to be. And then just here you can see my lucky pen, and that pen is a pen that I had for every client consultation for the first 10 years of doing therapy. I still have it now as a bit of a memento because it's just completely died. But that's really what my journey has been about in because I think most people, you kind of know what you want to do, um, but really helping people unstick themselves and get out of their own way. So let's start with a little definition. I love this definition from Alice Corn Selby, who says self-sabotage is when we say we want something and then we go about making sure that it doesn't happen. Uh, so I'm going to give you a few examples, but I would like you to have a think, because I'm going to ask you how self-sabotage shows up in your life. So this is really just a bit of food for thought. And some of these might be actually familiar to you as well. Making a New Year's resolution, I want to lose weight or I want to get healthier. But then by the end of January, around about now, it's like we've already stopped the plan. I'd be interested to hear from anyone here. Have you ever had that intention to get active, and maybe the intention has gone so far as signing up for the gym, but you don't actually really go too much? And it can be anything, maybe trying to improve your relationships or your finances, but just getting stuck in old patterns, stuck in old habits. So that's what self sabotage is. And now I'm going to ask you guys, how does self sabotage, because I think that we all kind of do it, right? How does self sabotage show up in your life? And I will maybe read out some of your answers, but just to protect your privacy and your confidentiality, I won't read out anybody's names. So, I'm interested to hear, guys, how do you kind of get in your own way? Or how do you say you want to keep doing something and then stop, or say you want to stop doing something and then you continue doing it? How does it kind of show up for you guys? I'm interested to hear, and I'm just opening up my chat box. Who's going to be brave? Courts, I'll use your name because your find is wasting too much time on TikTok. Yeah, I'm probably a little bit too old for TikTok, so I just waste time on other forms of social media. SLK, you are right there with Court spending too much time on TikTok. Okay, a good one here is going to bed late. So going to bed late, which means not enough sleep, eating too much. Yep, simple one. Ooh, sneaking snacks, a bit of a lack of discipline. Promising myself to take some time without alcohol, then my mates turn up with the beers. And a very similar one, the weekend comes, I eat out, drink, stay up late, talking myself out of things, procrastinating about moving, for example, walking. So I think that, you know, something that's probably really important for all of us to acknowledge here when we talk about self sabotage is that self sabotage is actually really normal and natural. We all do it. But I'm going to give you an idea that I've found really helpful last year, and my clients have found really helpful on how you can overcome this self sabotage. Okay. So, to give you a little bit of background on my journey of discovering how to help people overcome self sabotage, I have, come up with a few good answers, fortunately. Uh, One of the things that I spent a lot of time doing, and it's took me about 10 years, I think, was to help people set goals in a way that overcomes self-sabotage. Because sometimes when the very process that we use of setting up our goals might make us feel too pressured, or become a bit overly weight focused and a bit diety in our mentality. So I've been on a long journey of helping people learn how to set goals in a way that actually feels good and feels empowering. So that's something that I think we do really, really well. The next journey that we went on with our online community members, and we had a previous program to this one called the 12-month transformation, um, was we added in values work where we can actually understand not only what we want to achieve, but why we want to achieve it. And values are these really, really powerful motivators that we all have inside us. And when we uncover them, they can help us keep going. And they can help us keep going actually no matter where we are with our goals, because there are points of potential sabotage along the whole journey of reaching our goals. Sometimes when we start, there's a potential point of sabotage because it's like, I'm so far away. Sometimes when we get part way, we kind of can have a potential form of sabotage where it's like, that's kind of good enough. It's kind of not, but I kind of am telling myself it's good enough. Sometimes when we get really close to reaching our goals, we can have sabotage because we can have sort of fear of success. And then sometimes when we've reached our goals, we can have sabotage because it's like, oh well, I've done it now, and the motivation just kind of dies down. But if we can uncover our values, they can keep us going at all stages. Spend a lot of time using innovative psychological principles to turn intentions into habits. So, like I said before, a lot of the time we actually know what we want. So, a lot of my job as a psychologist is helping people use psychological principles and techniques to bridge that gap between what I want to do or what I say I'm going to do and what I actually do. Really big part of what I do. That was all really, really, really helpful. But still something is missing, and this ongoing journey of helping people transcend self-sabotage wasn't quite finished. But I found a really, really big missing piece of this puzzle a couple of years ago. I spent all of last year experimenting on it with myself and with my clients, and I'm convinced that it is something that can really help you to transcend self-sabotage. So let me tell you what it is. And what it is exploring our identities. So, what is our identity? You can think of your identity as the way that you see yourself. So, when we're talking about reaching our goals, living out our values, becoming the sort of people that we want to be, why is our identity important? Well, when our goals or our intentions or our hopes or our dreams are not consistent, are not in line with the way we see ourselves, what we call behavior identity conflict, then we're almost predestined for self sabotage, because those goals we have, those things we want to do, are not consistent with who we are, or at least the way we see ourselves. And when this happens, our identity is such a stable and core part of ourselves that these new behaviors that we try and do, and sometimes can do for a period of time, they become threats to our very sense of self. And when our identity and our intentions fight with each other, our identity always wins. So some examples for this, because that might sound a bit abstract or a bit esoteric, but some examples of this, what we call behavior identity conflict, could be, for example, if you believe that you're not a gym person, you'll never be able to consistently go to the gym. You might be able to start and stop, but you'll never be like those gym junkies, those people whose identity is wrapped up in the gym that go often. So it might you might start and stop, or if you go, it might feel like it's like not authentic, or it's just like not me. If you're a person who can't stick with things, for example, you'll meal prep in line with that haphazardly or not at all. Similarly, if you're a person who hates cooking, then you might meal prep, but you might do it begrudgingly. So you can see how our identity ties in with all of these things that we feel like we want to do and these goals and these intentions that we have. And again, if you see yourself, for example, as a person who's bad with money, then when that thing pops up on your social media, like that $800 inflatable pool toy, you make that impulsive decision. You're like, yeah, actually, I'll get that. I'll blow up my budget, because that's something that people who are bad with money do. So I'm just going to check and see, have a little look at your faces and just see, is that making sense, guys? Good. Good, good. Okay. So what do we take from this? What it really means at the end of the day is that if we want to be successful in the long term, which is of course the aim of the game, we have to actually become someone new. Now, of course, you're always going to be yourself, but unless you change the way that you see yourself in important ways, you're always going to find it difficult to uh, enact those new behaviors, because they're not in line with the way you see yourself. And you're always going to find it very easy to go back to just who I am. So, for a little reflection, and guys, we cannot do this reflection. You might like to absolutely make some notes. You might like to share in the chat box, but really, this requires a bit of personal reflection for you to take some time and really have a think about this. I'd like you to just reflect on, okay, well, who am I right now? Basically, how have I seen myself? And then the next question is, who do I want to become? Who do I want to become in order to reach these goals, in order to achieve these things, in order to do what I really want to do? Now, as a bit of food for thought, I'm going to show you my journal, because I started by doing this process. And the way that you do it is you just take a sheet of paper, and on one side, you write down, who am I? What is my historical identity? And then on the other side, you can write down, who do I want to be? So this is an example, and I did this for all the areas of my life. I did it for health and well-being. I did it for relationships. I did it for work. Um, so my personal example, and I'm sharing with you the work part of my diary, because you can't read the whole part of my diary. It's not cool. Is when I looked at the who am I, the first part, as I've said to you, my work is, really important to me. I'm very passionate about it. It means a lot to me. But I realized when I reflected on it, I'm becoming a bit of a workaholic. And sometimes, I don't know, Courts and Emma in here with me, they might attest to this. I was like, I'm being a bit of that cranky kind of a boss man. I'm like, oh, yuck. I don't like the idea of that at all. So, one of the things when you do this reflection is sometimes acknowledging the way that you see yourself currently can be hard, but it's always worthwhile. It's always that catalyst for change. Then on the other side, you're right. Okay, well, who would I like to become? Um, the goals that I have, what sort of person do I need to become in order to achieve those goals? And I thought, hey, I want to be like a bit of a lifeaholic, like someone who just enjoys my work, but also enjoys other elements of life. And you can see I made a whole bunch of notes around that. The cool thing for me is it resulted last year in, I had double the amount of days off compared to the previous year, and my first overseas holiday in 5 years. So it worked really, really well. I've been experimenting with this process with my clients and the online community members, and it's a really, really helpful piece of the puzzle. So I'd encourage you to do that reflection. And if you want to do any further work on this, I did write a blog where I share all of this in detail, and so Em's online with us as well. Em runs the transformation support community. Poor Em has been with me for over 10 years now, and has set up all of our online programs. So Em will link that blog, and in the blog, I actually share the exercise, all the ins and outs, and a few more details so you can give it a go. Or if you want us to do it with you, you can join the upcoming series where we actually spend 3 sessions on the identity we want to create, but then also how we affirm that to ourselves with self-talk that doesn't sound cheesy or inauthentic, and how we actually back it up with actions, because those actions have to become the evidence for the new belief that we're forming of ourselves. Otherwise, it's just something we kind of say. So there are a couple of further avenues if you want to take it a little bit further, or a lot further, but it's a really, really powerful process. I'm just going to check the chat box, guys. Someone said they need intentions into habits. We're saying we're making sense. And someone said, look, what categories did you use? Your identity is multifaceted. And so what I encourage you to do, and we do this in the program, we explore this a little bit further, but you just want to look at any areas where you want to either reach some goals, you want to stop, you want to change some habits, you want to live more in line with your values, you want to become someone new. So it's really up to you. And a big theme of what we do in the community and in my one-on-one work is actually listening to yourself. So it's really, I just chose areas that made sense to me. Okay, so someone said, is there a starting place for someone with burnout? I would start and I would put in that left column, I'd put, okay, I'm someone who has burnout. Is that the way that I want to be? Is that the way that I want to see myself? And then it becomes a bit of a brainstorming or reflecting process. Well, if I didn't have burnout, what would I be? Would I be someone who was at peace? Would I be someone who was calm? Would I be someone who had work-life balance? That type of thing. And then this becomes the start of the process. Okay, guys, so that is it. Oh, and there's a question. Yep, perfect. Cool. And there's a question here about when the series starts, but it's already been answered by the team. So good work, team. This is one of the coolest things, guys, I think, about the new direction that we're moving in our online community, because I've given you my mindset tip. You're now about to hear from Quartz, and then you're going to hear from Sarah. And one of the cool things that we're doing, which we haven't done before, is actually having multiple health professionals in the same webinars. We're doing it in the transformation support community, and it's super cool because you get to have a group of health professionals that you can talk with to help you to overcome your challenges. But you actually get a group of health professionals that are talking with each other in real time, which is just this beautiful interdisciplinary support. And if anyone's a health professional, you know that in conferences all over the world, whenever we learn at uni, we talk about interdisciplinary care. But I think this is the absolute pinnacle. We're all in the same webinars, all doing it together. So super duper cool. Oh, and someone has already enrolled, so that is super cool. We will be very, very keen to have you. I'm going to now stop sharing, and I'm going to hand you on to Quartz to share her little tip with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Glenn. I will just quickly share my screen. Alrighty. Cool. Awesome. So thanks for that, Glenn. Also, just wanted to let you know, you're not always an angry boss, man. It's okay. So it is very exciting that I'm finally bringing my clinical work with my clients into the TSC. It's been really fun creating content for our community. And for the upcoming series, I put my heart and soul into making sure that it is very valuable and as practical as possible. So to give you a little teaser into what you can expect, tonight I want to talk a little bit about satiety and give you all something to take home so you can implement right away to get the most out of your meals and feel fuller for longer. So first, what are appetite and satiety? So appetite is our desire to eat, and it's made up of two things: physical hunger and then external and psychological signals or non-physical hunger cues. Now, once we see an increase in appetite, we make the decision to eat. We eat until our stomach becomes full and we feel satiated. This fullness that is sustained over a period of time, that's called satiety. Now, we've got many things that affect our appetite. So we've got the physical and the external. In terms of the physical hunger aspect, things that affect our physical hunger are our metabolism, appetite regulating hormones, our blood sugar levels, and our physical activity levels. In terms of the external and psychological component, we've got things like our mood, emotions, our thoughts about food, and our environment, so the sight and smell of food. So, for example, you walk past a Subway and you just smell the cookies and all the subs and you instantly feel hungry, but you weren't a second ago. Or you've come home from work, had a really rough day, and you just want to eat the entire block of chocolate in your fridge. So those are examples of how our environment or our mood affects our appetite. Now, satiety and physical hunger are linked, and their relationship is a little bit like a seesaw. So when you have increased levels of satiety, you won't feel physical hunger. And when we feel physically hungry, you're obviously not satiated anymore, and so we'll most likely eat. Now, non-physical hunger or head hunger is influenced by those external and psychological signals, but this is a whole other ballgame that I won't go into today, but we do cover this in our emotional eating and wellbeing series that's also in the TSC program. So how do we increase satiety? Basically, through mindful eating and certain nutrition principles. Now, we know from research that our pre-eating signals, which is basically mindful eating, and post-eating signals, which we can influence through nutrition, are closely linked to satiety. So our pre-eating signals, these include our thoughts about that food, the sight and smell of that food, the memory or memories we have of that food, noticing the texture of your food, and the chewing before you actually ingest. So basically, the more you pay attention to your meal, the more satiating it will be. And then our post-eating signals, these include the stretch receptors in the stomach, rate of digestion of the meal, the rate of absorption of nutrients, and also the blood sugar levels after we've eaten, and the different appetite regulating hormones that food stimulates. Now, we can affect all of these post-eating signals through nutrition. And ideally, we want to be eating foods that are slower to digest, slower to absorb, because we'll feel fuller for longer from these foods. These foods also then encourage a slow, stable release of blood sugar throughout the day, which again, you're going to feel energy levels are going to be more stable and you're going to be fuller for longer. So you'll feel a lot better. Now, what nutrients increase satiety? So there are a few nutrients we can focus on, and these nutrients increase satiety through a variety of mechanisms, which include slowing down your digestion and gastric emptying and impacting on your satiety hormones. So again, all those things combined mean that you feel fuller for longer. Now, in the top spot of my little satiety triangle that I've made, we've got protein as the most satiating. Further down, we've got fiber and complex carbohydrates. Lower down, we've got healthy fats And at the bottom, we've got simple carbohydrates and saturated and trans fats, or unhealthy fats. Now, in the series, I do go into more detail about like what these nutrients are and where we find them. But for tonight, I'll leave it there, that little teaser. But the last thing I want to talk about tonight, sorry, anywhere you are, I guess, is the protein leverage hypothesis. Now, I'm touching on the basics here, but our body requires a certain amount of energy to function, throughout the day. And the protein leverage hypothesis proposes that our body also has an optimal amount of protein it likes to receive every day. Now, if we don't consume enough protein throughout the day, our hunger levels will remain high until we have met that protein requirement. So this can result in you eating a lot more energy over the day, just in the hopes that you've met, or you're going to eat some protein and you'll meet that requirement. So that is one of the main reasons why protein is on the top of that satiety triangle. Now, in terms of how to implement all this information and put it into a practical eating guide, this will all be answered in the upcoming series. So you'll also have my support along the entire way, the full 12 weeks. We'll be troubleshooting these strategies as we go. So you'll have my input. We can tweak things and talk about what you're actually eating, what you're actually doing. And you will also receive a variety of super helpful resources that I've made, like some meal builders, which are really handy. So I really do think that this series is going to be really good, very holistic. Like we said, we've got kind of a component of psych, movement, and nutrition. And I really do think it will benefit anyone, no matter where you are in your health journey. So please come join us. It does start on the 30th. So we've got, I think it's 2 weeks till we start. Yeah, so I can't wait to see you all there. That's it from me. I'm just going to quickly, I'll check the chat box. Love the triangle. Thank you. Oh, a fellow APD. Hello. Yeah. Yes, I do one-on-one consultations as well. Yes. So that's definitely something, if you feel like you need, I consult with weight management psychology for one-on-one work. So that's definitely an option. Alrighty. Well, I will pass it on to Sarah now to chat about movement.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm excited to bring you the last of our webinar today, so just hang tight. I'm also going to share my screen and another presentation. All right, let's kick this off. You've already seen our smiling faces. So today I'm going to chat with you a little bit about how to transform your movement. Now, movement is my jam. For some of you that might not have heard of the term exercise physiologist, we deal day in and day out with people who want to make movement a part of their life or use movement as a way to improve their well-being or to manage different chronic health conditions. And I absolutely love helping people remove the barriers around movement so that they can make it a part of their lives and actually really start to enjoy it, because when you enjoy the movement that you're doing, you're more consistent with it, and it's so much easier to maintain it throughout the rest of your life, which is when you'll gain the most benefits from it. But let's start with maybe some thoughts that maybe have crossed your mind at some point during your journey towards health and well-being. So these are particularly in relation to your movement. So have you ever thought to yourself, movement has to be intense to be really effective? Or if it's not a long or exhausting workout, then it doesn't count, it doesn't matter. Or we've all been told we need to reach this kind of 10,000 steps each day. But if I'm not able to reach that amount, why even bother doing any walking at all? Or maybe I feel too ashamed or embarrassed to exercise or move my body, and that's really preventing me from doing things I might actually really enjoy. Now, if you are feeling confident, please share with the group in the chat box. Has anyone ever experienced something similar to this, or maybe something different? I'm just going to check the chat box quickly. I'm sure you're all nodding your head internally. So if you've ever said yes to any of these or something similar, just know you're not alone. But a lot of these are kind of myths and unrealistic expectations that often prevent us from doing something. And doing something is always the best that you can do, especially when you're starting out, because we want to make sure we're not having this kind of like all or nothing mentality where we push ourselves really hard and then it gets too difficult and we just end up giving up in a short period of time. Again, we want that sustainability over time. And a few of you are kind of agreeing with this in the chat box. Yep, love that. So what is the truth, especially when it comes to movement and the science behind movement, to really give you some reassurance that moving your body, engaging with your body to do, whether it's walking or something, a principle and a tip I'm going to talk to you about in a second, to do something during moments of the day is going to benefit you in so many different ways. And what we know is low intensity movement, of course, still counts. It's still beneficial. Doing shorter workouts or shorter movement sessions still provide numerous mental, physical benefits. We know in terms of that mental health benefits, it's less than 10 minutes that can actually get you some mood boosting benefits of exercise. Glenn, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes, actually, the latest research says. So it's quite a short period of time. And there's also numerous physical benefits that you can get just from breaking up periods of sitting down. So we know it helps regulate your blood sugar levels better. It helps with feeling more alert, feeling more productive. It helps to reduce fatigue. It can also reduce things like discomfort or lower back pain. So there are so many benefits that you can get in the moment just from doing small amounts of movement. And of course, even though we hear that 10,000 steps, know that any amount of walking is better than none. It really does help you live longer. It's also a beautiful way of breaking up, periods of the day, maybe between work and home, so that you have a little bit of time to decompress. And then last but not least, of course, you deserve to enjoy movement without fear or judgment. And that is often some of the biggest obstacles that I am working through with those in the TSC and obviously in a one-to-one basis as well. So what should I do? Where should I start if I want to really experience these truths, but I don't know what to do? And the best place to start is with the tip that I'm giving you tonight, which is movement snacking. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, what the heck is movement snacking? What is she on about? So movement snacking is the practice of moving and exercising your body in tiny doses throughout the day, just like a little snack, right? The best part is there's no gym, there's no equipment. You don't need any special clothes to do this. You can do this anytime and anywhere. The reason I love movement snacking is it really breaks away from those unrealistic expectations of ourselves. And we start to see that, hey, maybe I can be someone that moves my body, and we can accumulate these little bits of movement over time. And they really do add up to us feeling better about ourselves, feeling more confident in our own abilities, and then maybe having the confidence to add more movement into our lives as well. So what actually counts as a movement snack? I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to give you some examples here. So movement snacking is essentially something that can take as little as 30 seconds, but maybe up to kind of like 5 to 10 minutes. It isn't really anything more than that. And it's usually based on things that you can do anywhere, anytime, any place. So some of the things I often recommend are things that you're doing while you're kind of waiting for something else to happen. So doing 10 push-ups on the kitchen bench while you're waiting for whatever's in the oven to finish cooking, or while the kettle boils, you might stand and lightly touch maybe your countertop and just do 20 calf raises. So lifting your heels up off the ground. You might do a wall sit against the wall while you're brushing your teeth and see how long you can hold that for. You might try doing some squats during some ad breaks, or simply just get up out of your seat between episodes of whatever you're watching on Netflix and maybe go refill your drink or your water bottle. Of course, there are the opportunities to do things like follow along videos, and I've created some amazing follow along movement sessions that are 10-minute bites of movement that you can do that are already in the TSC, and there are going to be more that are coming for you in the next series when you're joining to coincide with what I will be teaching you, which I will touch on in a second. Or even doing something like balancing on one leg. And those will get all those tiny little muscles working, which are really, really important for us as well as we age. So there are so many different things that you can be doing. And it's just really important to remind yourself that, hey, it doesn't need to be a big, long workout. I can prioritize giving myself a break because I deserve a break during the day to do something different and to move my body. And it's really helpful because, you know, if we're thinking about posture and maybe we're getting a little bit stiff and achy, this provides a really great opportunity for us to kind of shift and change, get our blood flow going, and help us feel a little bit more comfortable, as well as us feeling a little bit better, more energized, more productive. So that is my tip for the best place to start. Start with movement snacking. Start small. And then if you join us in the next series, I'm going to be teaching you some core principles of how to really integrate and personalize your own movement plan so that you can achieve your movement goals. Not only that, but sustain them. So I'm going to be teaching you how to move for a healthy heart. So all the benefits that coincide with doing cardiovascular movement, things that are going to be safe for your joints and be really respectful to any kind of considerations you have around injuries, and really be very conscious of that. And then also moving for a strong body. So everything that we do every single day requires our muscles to move, and that requires them to be strong. But a strong body isn't just our muscles. Obviously, having strong muscles can really help relieve some of the pain we might feel around certain joints, but it also is there for our bone health, our tendon health, and so many other things. And to tie it all together, I'll be helping you create your own plan, as well as troubleshoot some of your biggest obstacles to exercise and movement so that you can maintain this long term and again, achieve the goals that you really want to for yourself in regards to movement. So that is my tip for tonight. And I am so excited to see so many new faces in the TSC if you join us. And I'm even more excited to bring you those new follow along movement sessions, which I know everyone has been loving so far. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and check the chat box just to see if there's anything. And I will, of course, hand back to Glenn to round things off for the rest of the webinar.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Courtney, and thank you all, to everyone who's participating live for your chat. I think we're having a really good discussion, and I'm excited. Courts and Sarah and I, we started just testing this interdisciplinary in-webinar support in a 4 a 4-series program, a 4-week program at the end of last year, and I'm very, very excited now to be bringing you a much, much bigger program. And I'm going to, guys, you guys are doing really well. You've had 4 PowerPoints now. I'm going to share the last little PowerPoint. And what I might do is, guys, I might leave the questions to the end, and then we can answer any questions that you have, because I'm aware that I probably took a little bit more time than I had planned, and anyone who knows me will know that is completely uncharacteristic of me. I almost never speak for longer than I have planned. So everybody knows like that's completely not true. Okay, so let me actually let you know about the program that we have coming up. And if you could please link the program as well so people can follow along and you can actually check out all the details. But yes, to answer the person who asked question, we start on January the 30th. And so what that means is we'll run this program live on January the 30th. If you're watching this on YouTube in 2025, it'll all be already in the community, so you can follow along whenever you like. But there is something kind of special about doing it live. So what are we going to do? We're going to start by focusing on reaching your goals, and we're going to go through this whole person goal setting process, which is a process that it's basically that goal setting process that I told you about that overcomes the common forms of sabotage, including a dieting or weight loss focus, and helps you set yourself up for long-term success. You'll see there's a webinar on creating the whole person goals, and then there's a webinar on cultivating them. That's one of the cool things that we do in the TSC, as we lovingly call it. We actually spend a lot of time helping you when the rubber hits the road, actually implement it. The TSC is all about hands-on actually implementing the ideas and turning the information into transformation. Then Courts and I are going to spend a couple of webinars on nourishing your body. We're going to work on this idea of nutri-intuitive eating. So people who like the principles of intuitive eating, but want to balance that with the principles of nutritious eating. And then Courts is going to take you through some supportive structures that are actually going to help you implement that and make it a bit more easy and a bit more natural so you can sustain it. Then we're going to get into discovering what matters, which is really that values-based work that I was talking about, really helping you tap into those endless well springs of motivation that are always there. The people that we work with really love the values work. It's probably a little bit different to what we're used to, setting goals, reflecting on our values, but it's going to be really cool. And we've actually deepened it this year because we've had some great support from one of our other psychologists in the TSC who's helped us really deepen that work. So it's going to be really cool. Then Sarah and I are going to spend a couple of sessions on cultivating fitness. So creating that moving for a healthy heart, and then cultivating the strength, the moving for a strong body. And Sarah is just so good when she gets into it at wisely and compassionately helping people through all sorts of movement barriers. And there are, like Sarah said, going to be some really cool follow along videos, a big library of follow along videos that can help you to actually just, if you can't figure out what to do, actually some support to just do it. Then I'm going to come back. So we're getting into sessions 9, 10, and 11, and we're going to do this identity work. So not only reflecting and understanding who we want to be, but actually introducing this idea of smart systems, which are systems that are designed to autopilot your success and make it a lot easier for you to keep going and create healthy habits that last for life. So then the final session is we're going to tie it all together, and I'm going to show you how you can continually sort of steer yourself towards success in what I call steps to success sessions. Say that 5 times fast. The cool thing is, if you're a member of the transformation support community, we actually do these steps to success sessions periodically throughout the year. So we actually take care of all of that for you. And then the whole way through, we will be supporting you. You can ask questions live in the webinars. You can email us questions that we'll answer live in the webinars. We'll be in the Facebook group. There's so much support there for you. So we'll be problem solving the whole way through. Because again, so much of our work actually is not just giving you an idea, but actually helping you understand and figure out how you can implement that idea in a way that's right for you. But then we thought we'd add a couple of bonus sessions in at the end for if you have any remaining struggles with your nutrition or with your movement. So they're just sort of to really make sure that we can tie off any loose ends. So that's a session plan, guys. And Em, I'm sure, has put up the link. Now, I will let you know that to join this series, you become a member of our transformation support community. So I want to let you know about what the transformation support community is. And Em, if you could please put up the link to the transformation support community, so people can see the overall sort of program that you're joining in order to become a part of this series. So the transformation support community is a support community for people who want help with their eating, their physical activity, their weight, their body image, and generally just killing it at life. We do sort of consider it a very holistic program. And now we're very much moving in the direction of interdisciplinary care. So I think that where we have been a more mindset-based program, now we are becoming a very holistic mindset, eating, movement, lifestyle-based program, which is kind of cool. But let me let you know about what is available to you as a member of the TSC. And we like to say in the TSC that there's so many opportunities available to you, so much that you can do, but we all do transform in different ways. We're all different. So we say that everything in the TSC is an opportunity and none of it is an obligation. So we start off with, one of the core things is the weekly live webinars. And once those webinars are finished, they're uploaded into a growing library. We have webinars on, like Court said, emotional eating and psychological well-being. We've got a great series on creating healthy habits with Dr. Gina Cleo, expert habits researcher. We've got work on tapping with Dr. Peter Stapleton. So we've got this huge library of webinars. We also have 5 pretty chunky, structured, detailed online programs for people who want to go really, really deep. We have 3 audio programs that people really, really enjoy, and some of them contain some hypnosis and some relaxation, which is our members really like them. We have a super special Facebook community. It's just, I think that the community you'll find supporting you without judging does half the work. And Courts and our other transformation support coach, Grayson, who's a psychologist, are in there Monday to Friday. If you want, you can have an accountability buddy. Not everyone wants one, but if you want, you can have one. We have these one-on-one pathways to success sessions where if you're feeling a little bit stuck or you're not sure about your direction in the program, you can actually have a 15-minute one-on-one session with one of our registered psychs, including me. It's all part of your membership. We have an app so you can take the program with you wherever you want to go. People really like that. We have workbooks for each series. So in this series, there'll be a big workbook that you can download, print, fill out, or type it out if you're a bit more environmentally conscious, however you want to do it. A couple of cool new things. And I thought I'd highlight the new things because we're always co-creating the program together. Is these new sessions that we're calling Nutrition Quick Bites, which are actually one-on-one 15-minute sessions with Courtney or one of our other registered dietitians. So a super cool thing if you've just got some little area where you need some advice or to get unstuck with. And of course, as SLK has alluded to, this size inclusive workout library. We call it the everybody movement, and it's small, but it's going to grow. And we call it the everybody movement because it is designed for all shapes, all sizes, all genders, all ages, all levels of ability. So it's something that these are some new things as a member of the TSC that are available to you that we're super duper excited about. This is just a lovely little member transformation story from someone who's experienced some great benefits with us. And I think that Catherine really highlights the importance of the community. And the community really is, I think it's three parts. It's actually firstly the members supporting each other. And that is, as I say, it's half the therapy. Then it is your professionals, the TSC coaches, Courtney, Sarah, Grayson, myself. And of course, the final part of the team and the most important part of the team is you. So we would love you to take a further step with us and become a part of our community. And a really good way to do that is for this upcoming 12-week series. So how it all works is we open it up to 50 introductory member places. There are actually only 20 remaining. This one is kind of filling up the fastest of all of our other ones. So it sort of tells us that people are kind of pretty keen on what we're going to do as we are. So the way that I'm sure Em has put some links either to the transformation support community or to the program. You can use either of those links to sign up and secure your spot. That's how you do it. Then between now and January 30th, if you're starting with us live, you can just use that time to get familiar with the program. Just, check out your welcome emails, the welcome videos, join the Facebook group, get an accountability buddy if you want, just get all set up. And the cool thing is, as a member, what we've set up is a little free trial. So you get a couple of weeks free. So you basically get your membership free until the program starts anyway. So that's kind of cool. You do also get our introductory member discount. Just make sure you include the word transform, the coupon code transform, and it'll give you 25% off. So please make sure you do that because it'll give you that 25% off for as long as you're a member with us. And there is the link there, but I'm sure that you already have the links available. Now I'm going to I'm just going to check the time. And I'm just going to answer a couple of frequently asked questions, and then I'll completely understand if people have to go because we're just above our hour now. So thank you so much for being with us. And let me just answer these couple of questions, and then I'll definitely will check the chat box. So questions that some people have is like about the webinars, like, do I have to attend them live? You absolutely don't. Most of our people actually watch them in their own time. So I sort of, the biggest compliment we get about those is that they're like people's favorite TV show. You can watch it live when it first airs, or you can just watch the taped, showing how old I am, the taped or recorded version. If you miss a webinar, it's going to be uploaded in the system, in the program within a few hours, so you can just catch it up. Or we know that life happens. So if you kind of, you have a really busy period and you don't make the webinars for a little while, that's fine too. They're all actually designed to be independently valuable. So if you've missed a couple of weeks or a few weeks, you can just jump back in the flow of what we're doing at the moment and it will be valuable. So we kind of set it up that way because we know we don't want to create a program that's too hard for real people to do. If we do that, no one's going to get the results we want. So the program is very life friendly. Now, this is, I often will talk about the FAQs, and this is an FAQ that people often ask us, like, Glenn, so how much do I actually pay for the series? So I thought, because everyone asks it, I'll just let you know. So the TSC is like a gym. You join whenever you want, you finish whenever you want. So you can stay for as long as you like. You can stay till the end of the series. You can stay. We've had members who have been in it since the beginning. They're like, I just really like the supportive community. It helps me to keep focused and stay on track and to transform. Because there's so many offerings in it, you can sort of, independently pick and choose the parts that you like. But if you're just looking to attend this series, it's a 12-week series. So that's 3 months. at $89.95 a month. So it's $269.85. So that's what it works out if you just want to do the series. We have trialed last year this kind of 12-week plus 2 bonus weeks. And what we find is that some people are really they're really hyper motivated, they're really on the ball, they're really good students, and they like to just join for the few months and then they're done. But then we do find it works well for if you're maybe quite motivated but not as motivated, just sort of an everyday level of motivation, to actually just stay for another month. That gives you those extra couple of bonus sessions plus a couple of weeks leeway to kind of catch up on things, which a lot of our people do. If you do want to cancel at any time, there's no sort of lock-in contracts or anything like that. So you still remain a member with us with access to everything that's available in the community until your membership runs out. But there's no lock-in contract. So you start whenever you like and you also finish whenever you like. So you're not locked into anything, which is cool. So I have been talking a lot. And guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your energy. And thank you so much for your attention. And a special thanks to our support team of Em and Courts and Sarah. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to check the chat box and see if there is any more things that we need to go through with you. Oh my goodness, I'm just scrolling through the chat box. Like there's a lot of talking, which we love. Sometimes the community's, yeah, it is. The community is really, really special because it's, we consider it like big group therapy. We actually spend a bit of, quite a lot of time cultivating the group. So you'll hear me in the Facebook group being a bit like the dad, being like, guys, let's make sure we don't post multiple times in a row because it kind of spams everyone and turns them off. Or guys, let's make sure that we're very mindful and respectful of each other. And you'll feel that when you get into the community. We do spend a lot of time on it. Okay, cool. Yeah, someone asked, jumping the gun a bit, but what comes after the 12-week program? Is it another program? There will be endless programs because we do a webinar every week for the whole year, with the exception of we all have a Christmas break that gives us all a breather. So coming up after that, we are actually taking a vote. So we have it. We are always co-creating the community. So we're taking a vote between myself doing a series on hypnosis, Courts and our other dietitian, Shauna, doing a series on just nutrition, and possibly SLK doing a series on movement. And there was one other one that we floated. One of our other psychologists doing a series on acceptance and commitment therapy, because he did a webinar with our guys last year and they really loved it. So we're co-creating the program. And then at the end of the year, we're actually having our habits expert, Dr. Gina Cleo, come and do an advanced series on habits. So you can already, if you become a member, you can check out her basic, shouldn't say basic, her introductory series on habits. It was super cool. Our guys really loved it. And then we're going to do a series on an advanced series on habits because our guys really, really loved it. Oh, yes. And good question. Are the webinars same time, day each week? They are. So we do sometimes vary them. Like say if we get an expert that all our people want to have in the program, we will ask the group, hey, can we change the time if that expert can't make the time? So we have varied it, but typically, almost always, it's this 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And the guys will, Em and Nick, who you'll meet, they are busy afterwards uploading it. So if you want to watch it a couple of hours after, it's all there for you, because we know that's actually important for our people to have it at their fingertips if they can't watch it live. But yeah, so it's the same time. So it's actually this time. So if you can make this time, you can make the live webinars. And like I said, some people really, they're at every live webinar. Some people duck in and out. Some people never attend the live webinars. And then we do have people from all over the world who are like, I just love being such a part of the community that every 3 months I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and have my cup of tea and talk to you guys. So, well, guys, it's been a big webinar, right? Thank you so much for your energy and your time. And I know that I speak on behalf of the whole Transformation Support Community team, where we hope that there's been something that's been useful out of today for you. I'm sure that there will be. So again, like I said, no pressure, but just, if there's hopefully there's something that's been valuable for you that you can take and use in your life. And then if you want to take that step further, we are all ready for you in the Reach Your Goals and Become Who You Want to Be series. All right, good night, guys. Thank you so much. And we will look forward to seeing you all soon. Take good care, guys.